My name is Monica Monk. I am a life member of the Epsilon Sigma chapter from Norfolk State University, and I'm also one of the chapter visitation associates. And today we're going to talk about how to manage our time when it comes to uh, work-life balance, because that is always going to be something that can be a challenge, regardless if you're in school or if you're not, right? So everything that I'm going to say is things that I personally apply in my everyday life. I do have a 9 to 5. I do government contracting, and I do this, and I have businesses, and I do all the things, y'all. Do all the things. So there's a couple of things that I have kept with me since I became a member of this organization. And one of the things that I learned very quickly is the order of importance. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's pretty much something that I kind of learned, but also I added in something else because it's really, really important for me to remember this order. So number one priority is yourself, okay? If you are not prioritizing yourself in what you do, you're going to burn yourself out and you're not going to have time to do anything else, or you're not going to feel like you have time to do anything else. And everything's going to seem so hectic and stressful. And I don't know about y'all, but I personally don't like to be stressed. If y'all like to be stressed, I mean, that's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day. But it's really important to prioritize yourself and make sure that you are able to practice your self-care and learn that early, but especially before you start working, because some of these 9 to 5s, y'all kind of got it a little twisted and think that they can overwork you and you have all the energy in the world, and you can't do that. So remember to prioritize yourself first. And when it comes to, if you're in school, do this track, but if you're not in school, uh, don't, well, you might be in school and still working, but still applies. So you are a student first before anything. That's why you went to school, right? And you got to prioritize that. So it's yourself and then school, because if you're not a student, you can't do band, and if you can't do band, you can't, do your membership duties for the organization, right? So please remember that. So yourself first is number one priority in the order of importance. Then it's school, and then it's your band duties. If you're still in school, it's your band duties. Like that, we wouldn't exist if there wasn't band. So please remember that your band priorities do come first. And that also looks like if you are on scholarship, like remember your band duties come first. So when you're planning out things, please remember that. And then the last in the order of importance is tau beta sigma. So it's not, but this is not saying to put tau beta sigma on the back burner. I did not say that. Don't y'all go run into y'all chapters saying I said that. I did not say that. So what I mean by this should be one of the last priorities in your order of importance, because again, you a student first. You have to fulfill your band duties in order to be a member of the band, and then your responsibilities when it comes to being a member of the organization come right after that. So you have to really make sure that you don't forget that. And it can be so easy, y'all, because I get it. Because life be lifing. Life really be lifing. And there are some personal challenges that come through where you may feel like, okay, I got to do this thing for TBS. But at the end of the day, y'all got to remember this order of importance, because again, sometimes if we don't prioritize it in this way, we'll end up making more work for ourselves and getting in trouble with whoever, because we're not balancing in the right way. So if y'all didn't write that down, again, it's self first, then it's school, then it's your band duties, and then it's tau beta sigma. Now, if you are somebody that is also working, this is kind of where you have to really understand yourself in order to know what you have to prioritize. So if you know that you're somebody that you gotta work and things like that, that might be a different conversation to have as far as what you can and can't do. Again, different conversation for a different day. But just remember when it comes to your work and you still in school, that you have to really ask yourself, like, okay, can I balance both of these, or do I need to make some choices? Okay. Now, if you just graduated and you're moving into the work life, again, remember an order of importance, but remember it like this. Remember, it's yourself first and foremost, and always. Okay. So please make sure you prioritize yourself. Second is your personal responsibility. So if you have children, if you are caring for your parents or things like that, remember to put that into your priorities, because if you don't, and you don't make it known to folks that, okay, you have other things going on, your work is going to be number one, and we don't want to be burnt out. I've experienced that before, y'all, and it's not fun. And when you really get into the real world with working experience, I promise y'all, a lot of these bosses and managers, they don't care what you have going on in your personal life, especially if you didn't make it known. So definitely make work last when it comes to that order of importance, because remember, you got to take care of yourself, and you got to make sure you're taking care of your personal responsibilities. Um, so there's that. Now, why I bring this up, for me, and what I've noticed has helped other folks as well, is that when you think of your priorities in that manner, you're able to plan out your days and your weeks and your months. I personally have multiple planners, that like physical planners, that I write down all my tasks for the week that I know of, or appointments or things of that nature. And then anything that's like outstanding, like if I want to go hang out with my friends, or if I want to make time to go out to dinner with like a coworker or something like that, I can also put that in my planner as well. But you also have your phone. I know almost everybody in here got a phone, a smartphone at that. So we all should probably be using our calendars and our phones, regardless if it's you're using the iPhone or Android. You have access to calendars with an S. So make sure that what you're putting in your physical planner, if you have one, you're putting it into your digital planner, because sometimes you might write something down, but if you don't put it in that digital planner, you might forget, because the digital planners do give you the flexibility of having reminders. So that's a really good way to help you balance things out, because if you're noticing that you're always going from here to here to here to here to here, and it's more so out of obligation to folks, and you're just like, do I have to go out with them today? Can I just stay at home? Or do I have to go to this event, or things of that nature? Like, you have to really prioritize, like, what is important, what do you want to do, and what's going to make you feel good at the end of the day, because you don't want to, again, feel burnt out, because I'm telling you, that burnout is not fun, and it's something that can cause stress. It can also a trigger word for anybody, but it can also lead to like depression and extreme anxiety and things of that nature. So definitely make sure that you have a planner and you're writing out your task, if that helps you. Also make sure that with your digital planners, again, you're keeping it updated. And if you can share it with people, definitely share it, especially if you're a student now. It is so helpful if y'all have a shared calendar. Y'all know how easy it is to see, oh yeah, we got 2 events coming up this weekend. I see it, I'm getting reminders for it, it's already there. Like, it is so convenient for everybody, and it makes everybody aware of what's going on, because I don't know about y'all, but don't y'all hate it when these get placed on you last minute, and you're like, but we have rehearsal, or we have these things. Why did you plan this for this day and didn't tell anybody? So it's really helpful to share your calendars and to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And if you are planning things, make sure like you're letting people know at least like 2 weeks in advance. And if it's something that is really, really last minute, like, yeah, make sure it's communicated, and the reasoning why it may be a last minute thing. Because, especially if you're still a student, band directors be asking for the most randomest things at the most random times. So sometimes you have to be really quick on that communication, and having that digital shared calendar is really, really going to help everybody moving forward. So I don't know about y'all, but like start investing in these calendars and in these planners because it's definitely helpful. And if you are somebody that is working, I'm telling y'all, you all your friends that you have that are also graduating and stuff, you're gonna be looking at y'all calendars and saying, hey, so I am free a month from today. Are you free from a month from today? Like it is really, really helpful just to have a calendar in general. So there's that. I already talked about the collective calendar. Oh, I'm sorry. And if anybody has any questions about anything, please let me know. I know I am talking really, really fast and all of that, but just let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, Allison. Oh, hey, Joanna girl. Okay. So another thing that I found helpful, especially when it comes to balancing tasks, and I'm speaking more towards if you're still a student right now, what I found really helpful for me was making sure that the events that we were doing, regardless if it was service, if it was social events, band responsibilities, that again, we were communicating with everybody and letting them know, like, hey, this is everything that we have to do for the month. Let's get it on the calendar. Let's put the plan together and things of that nature. But I know sometimes it don't always work out like that. So what helped me was categorizing the type of events that we were doing and having like a ratio. So for instance, we did like 2 service events, 1 social and 1 joint event every month. And that actually helped because we didn't over plan ourselves and we didn't this I just lost my train of thought. We didn't overplan ourselves, but also too, we were able to navigate through any challenges of like last minute band responsibilities that came up, or oh, we have a performance to do, or something like that. So it gave us that flexibility of being able to not not do all of the events in one setting, because I know, like, especially in the fall semester, y'all, it can get really, really busy. And it's not fun when it's really, really busy and you still got to do your service events and you still got to plan other things because every university is different, right? So definitely make sure that you have a way of not overcommitting yourself, but also providing the flexibilities that if something does come up last minute, it is really, really helpful. Okay. So another thing that also has helped with like with work-life balance for me is just making sure that like with me, I create routines for myself every week so that I am not overcommitting myself as a working adult right now. Because a lot of times life do be lifing and a lot of our responsibilities can take over and it can seem very challenging. But again, if you look at what you have to do and provide that sense of flexibility for yourself, regardless if it's 5 minutes per day, 30 minutes per day, an hour, whatever. Definitely make sure that you do something that you want to do that is healthy for you and makes you feel good. So for me, I make sure that I schedule my facials every month. I make sure that I schedule my I did massages at one point, and then I also made sure that I took time out, like, at least in the evening to just sit and relax, because especially if your job is very, like, go, 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 go all the time, you want some space, like, you just want to sit down and just maybe just watch some TV for a little bit, or maybe you can get up and start cooking something for yourself, but you definitely gotta make sure that you are not doing things that you don't want to do. So that's learning the art of saying no. And as somebody that used to say yes to a lot of things, I have definitely learned to say no. And a no could easily look like, hey, can I do a rain check? I'm actually not feeling too well right now. Let's try to reschedule in like a week or two. Like overcommitting yourself is not, it's not fun, y'all. And I know it may seem like we're disappointing people, or it may seem like, oh, we don't care about other people, but it's like, no, if you say like, hey, I really can't do this because of X, Y, and Z reason, and then provide a backup date or a rescheduled date or something, that will suffice. Like, But you definitely don't want to be one of those people. It's like, I can't make it, bye, and never hear from them again. Like, don't do that. But definitely make sure that you're doing what you can to make yourself the priority. Again, remember that order of importance, right? And then another thing that also has helped me too, which I've actually taken into my my after graduation life, I still do my event planning template. And what I mean by that is that I make sure that I plan out the things that I am doing. It for if it's like hosting something at my home for my friends, or if I'm going out somewhere and I I volunteer to plan an event, like I still use that event template. Like everything from who's the target audience, why are we doing this event, the description, who's all going to be there, how much is it going to cost, like all those things translate really, really well into this adult life of mine, because adult life is the similar, but is still like very different. So I'm really grateful that I learned that skill set when I was active, because I'm telling y'all, you got to have plans. Like, so with some things you can free will it all you want, but other things, like, you have to create those routines for yourself. You have to get into the habit of, again, saying no. You have to remember to prioritize yourself, because you can easily forget all of that, regardless of what stage of life that you're in and all of that. So that's just some tips that I personally have and have done and have experienced, and what I also like to advise, like, different folks that interact with, regardless if it's in the organization or not. Because I'm telling y'all, because life be lifing, but we're gonna make the best of our life right now, because it's like I said, it's so important to learn this now instead of having to learn the hard lessons later, for sure. So I'm gonna take a pause real quick. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything like that? Nicholas?
Yeah, so when you're looking at your like, order of, importance and everything, and you decide, this is, something that's, not, important, over something else, to you, how do you deal with when others think that that should be more important? Like, for example, I have the option to take a class this semester, and I think I'm deciding to not because I don't need it to graduate, and I have other things I'd like to prioritize, but others might not see it that way. How do you deal with those sorts of things?
So it's one of those things, like, if it's something that is personal to you, right? So for in this instance, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying that you're deciding if you want to take a class might not be something that you need to graduate, and other people are like, you really do need that. You need to take that. Am I correct?
Basically, yeah, I've met the requirement for the classes I have to take, but there, some might want me to do it just because they think I'm supposed to do it until I leave. But I, think there are other things I can get in my time here.
I think this was an easy solution in this case. So if you feel like you can do something else instead, but you have the requirements to graduate, if I were you, I would encourage you to look at doing what you feel you could also utilize in in your life, because you know you're getting this degree, not anybody else. But I do understand that if people are trying to be, just trying to look out and be helpful, like, listen to what they have to say, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. You don't have to follow what they say. You can just make sure that you're doing what's best for you, because you don't ever want to sit there and say, I paid for this class that I know I don't need. Why did I do this to myself? Right. So in that case, like, yeah, definitely listen to your own intuition when it comes to that, because you don't want to make sacrifices for other people, and again, they're not getting the degree you are. But I will say, if y'all ever experience a case where it's like, hey, we have we have a party, like a band party. We already scheduled it. It's already on the books, but our band director has said that we have to do a performance, right? Same day, all of that. This is when like that order of importance really does come in for real. It's just like, okay, with this party, I mean, yes, y'all have it on the books, y'all planned it out, y'all got everything ready, but your band duties and band responsibilities come first. So in that case, you will want to reschedule that band party because that's not as important as making sure that you are there to perform because you are the performers, right? So that's kind of like a flip side to your question, Nicholas. That was a good question. We got somebody in the chat. Ash said, I agree that learning how to say no is very important so you don't overcommit yourself. And Joanna said, I know some sorors who needed to hear this. Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, it's one of those things like you learn these lessons like when you're experiencing it and not afterwards. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, y'all. I have a cat and she was doing something she wasn't supposed to. My apologies. Does anybody else have a question? Or a comment or something you want to add? I'm not seeing anything. Don't be shy, y'all. I told y'all it's gonna be interactive.
I think it's also important for you to remember, like, when people are canceling on you, that like maybe that's just them saying no and that they need that time for themselves. That it's not just they don't want to go anymore. Like sometimes they need that for them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Tinley? Yes, thank you. Thank you for saying that because that's a lesson I think everybody has to learn, and it's a hard lesson to learn, and it's to not take things personally. So in situations like that, for sure, like, yeah, you can't take it personally if somebody cancels or if somebody, like, if you're trying to hang out and it's just not working out, it's like, you can't take it personally. Because it's to your point, like, it might be something going on with them. It might be, this is not the right time. So yeah, that's definitely a good lesson to learn. Anybody else? I know some of y'all got some experiences out here. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. What if no one else has any questions? Just to again, I'm gonna recap everything that I just talked about in this section, because well, again, y'all, when it comes to work-life balance and trying to time manage everything, it's a quick topic, but when you start applying it, it's not. It's one of those things. It's just like you just gotta apply what you know and see what works best for you. So remember the order of importance. Remember yourself is always prioritize yourself. Remember, if you're still a student, school, because you are a student first. Like we don't, I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. We are a student first. So make sure that you are focusing on your studies and making sure that you got your grades in and things like that. And yes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Listen, don't overgive more than you can, because again, that burnout is something fierce. You don't want to experience that if you can avoid it. So remember, self, school, band duties. So if you got performances, rehearsals, please don't skip that for a Tau Beta Sigma event or some other thing, because you know, especially if you're on scholarship, like, come on now, like that's how you pay for school, right? So that was number 3. And number 4 is Tau Beta Sigma. So again, this is not saying to neglect Tau Beta Sigma. Don't go to your chapters and say, Monica said, I ain't say that. This is just the order of importance and what you can do to make sure that your schedule is balanced and you are not overcommitting yourself to things that are making you burnt out and are not giving you that fulfillment that that you need. Because again, like Joanna said, you can't pour from an empty cup, okay? And if you are not in school anymore, just remember yourself is still the number 1 priority. Any personal responsibilities will come second, and then work comes last in that order of importance, because they can easily replace you. And you have to make sure that you're good and you're in a good space in order to be able to do the work, right? So just remember that. Also remember too, if you don't have a planner or some type of system where you are writing down the tasks that you have for the week, for the day, whatever, get you one. There are plenty of personal planners out there. There are digital calendars and planners that you can utilize, but utilize something, because unless you're somebody that's really, really good and can see the things in your mind, like I'm not like that. So I gotta write everything down. I always tell people, if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget. So don't be offended if I forget to do something, because I literally didn't write it down on my calendar. So just remember to do that, to prioritize your tasks. Remember, if you're still a student too, try not to overcommit yourself to things. If you're a VPSP, for instance, or if you're somebody that is like in an event planning chair and things of that nature, remember when you are planning these events to not overcommit your chapter or yourselves to all the things. Try to scale it down. If y'all want to categorize certain events, definitely your service events. Okay, I forgot to mention this. Service events should be like number 1 in those priorities. Let me throw that one out there. Remember to prioritize service events. So you got one category. So if you have to do 2 to 3 service events a month and maybe 1 social event a month, try to do that. Or if you want to try to do 2 service events, 1 joint event, and 1 social event, like try to do that as well. Again, every university is different, every chapter is different. So do what works best for your chapter. Also remember to have a collective calendar. So everybody knows, your band director, your sponsor, everybody knows what's going on. Y'all have it on some type of platform. And so nobody can ever give the excuse, well, I didn't see it. If everybody's using the same shared calendar, unless it didn't get uploaded, everybody should be checking that calendar to make sure that the events and tasks that they have for that week are on there. So definitely, if you're not doing that now with your chapters, please do that, because it's going to help y'all so much. And it's in that balancing act, you can take that again into the real world, and you can make it so that, okay, if I am on a team, I'm putting it on our team calendar that I'm on PTO. Don't bother me. Okay. So definitely learn to create that and invest in that. And then also too, when it comes to making sure that you are not pouring from empty cups, because we're not doing that around here, just make sure that you are able to prioritize what you have going on and try not to overcommit yourself to personal things, to work things. Like, if you don't have the energy to do it, you don't have the energy to do it, but definitely let people know, like, hey, let me rain check this week. I'm really not feeling up to it right now. So I'll catch you at the next one, and then try to reschedule. Like, don't do the like, oh yeah, well, I'll catch you next time. Because I promise y'all, it's probably gonna be a year or some change before y'all ever hang out again in the real world. All right, so just remember that. And then just the last, just piece of advice, you could take it or you could leave it, but just remember, y'all, that if you are somebody that is always saying yes to things, like all the things that you're always saying yes, please learn to say no. And kindly say no. Don't be rude about it, but currently learning how to say no, because that is really going to help you make sure that you are taking care of yourself and you're not burning yourself out. So yeah. So does anybody have any questions or comments that they want to add?
I think something you said really toward the very beginning, and you separated it out throughout the talk, is that in school you may approach time management a bit differently, but it's a place to like build the skills and really exercise the muscles to have good time management, to be able to continue succeeding. Even if you have to shift it a little bit when you get into the quote unquote real world, but into your job in the like professional space. It's not a real world, it's the same, but I think that that's really important though, thinking about like this is another skill that you're developing while you're in college.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that I had to learn very quickly, and it's something that, you know, it doesn't necessarily get taught. Like nobody really takes the time out to have workshops like this or to have talks like this to say, hey, this is a way to approach this, and so that you are not as stressed out. Because I mean, it's already a stressful situation anyway, especially if you're still in school. But you know, you just gotta make sure that you are, again, making yourself the priority and having enough energy to not get burnt out and not overcommitting yourself.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much, Monika, for kicking us off in this track this morning or this afternoon, whatever time it is. Thank you very, very much. Monika, do you want to pop your contact information into the chat for anyone?
Yes, I can. I sure can. I will put my email in this, and I see y'all's chats. Y'all are so welcome. Y'all are so welcome. I hope y'all were able to get some gems from this. And if y'all ever need anything from me, my email is in the chat. And if y'all, I know some of y'all in here, y'all already know what I'm about to tell y'all. If y'all got my number, just don't call me at 2:00 in the morning. That's all I ask. Don't call me at 2:00 in the morning. But yes, I'm here for you guys if y'all need more assistance with this or anything else.